Welcome back to the Mason clan. This episode is going to look at our time touring Northern Ireland in the motorhome. We crossed from Holyhead to Dublin with our dogs staying in the van for the crossing. The only checks at the port, we were making sure the dogs had had their tapeworm and for the microchips. The road led straight out to the motorway heading for Belfast, and the roads were clear with a couple of tolls that we had to pay. Our first stop was Carlingford Marina, where we were meeting friends and we enjoyed our first pint of Guinness. After a peaceful night at Carlingford Marina, we were back on the road, heading north towards Belfast. The coastal road led us right up into the city, but sadly, the campsite we were aiming for was full, so we couldn't stay there. The only other place they suggested was up in the hills, and it was too far out of the city for us to get there. So we continued on with a lunch stop at Carrickfergus, and then further north, we stayed at Glenarm Marina for the night. The boys enjoyed a good run on the beach and even had a paddle. Sadly, there was nowhere to eat at night here, but we did enjoy another pint of Guinness. The following morning, we parted company with our friends as they were to head home. We took the County Antrim coastal road north and sadly ended up behind one of the many coach tours that also follow this route around. As we went round one of the corners, there in front of us was Glen Arif, or as it's better known, the Queen of the Glen. From here, we went up onto the moors, which are covered in heather, full of colour at the moment. Everybody passing this way was stopping to take photos. Why wouldn't you? It was stunning. Shortly after this, we found some woods, so our dogs had a good run around before we went for the Carrick-Areedy rope bridge. We were able to book our walk across the rope bridge through our National Trust for Scotland membership, as this allows you access to places and attractions in Northern Ireland as well. On the booking information sent through, there was a telephone number that we could call to open up the height barrier for the car park. Parking is plentiful and there's no issue taking a motorhome down there. We certainly weren't the only ones. The walk to the rope bridge is about 1.5 kilometres, and once you get there, there's a member of staff who will allow you to cross. They have a system where people go across from the mainland to the island, and then they'll stop them to allow people to come back. So you might have a bit of a wait there. If you've got any loose garments or hats, hold on to them because it is quite windy when you're going across. You'll see plenty down on the ground that have been lost. When we'd finished at the rope bridge, we headed to a campsite near Bushmills. The following morning, we woke to rain, which wasn't ideal as we were heading to do a walking tour at the Giant Causeway. The dogs were able to join us on this as well. We'd recommend getting here early as it was really busy by the time we were leaving, and there's only a few spots for motorhomes to park. The walking tour is another thing we'd recommend. Although the guide tells you a tall tale, it does add to the experience, and this was something else we'd booked through our National Trust for Scotland. Further on from the Giant's Causeway are the castle ruins of Dunluce. There's an area to pull in to take photos. Onwards we went to Portrush to the motorhome park up, which was £12 for 24 hours, and there was services there. The motorhome parking at Portrush was popular, with vans coming all afternoon to try and grab a spot, so get there early if you want one. The following day we continued on and went through Derry and then on to a place a man in Portrush had recommended to us, the Griannan of Arlec. I've probably said that wrong. The views were for miles down to Loch Swilly, and he told us this was the place he wanted his ashes scattered. What a view! I will mention the road to this place is quite narrow and the car park isn't that big, so if you're not confident driving your van, maybe give this one a miss for now. From here, we headed back down to the main road and on our way into the Republic of Ireland. Having enjoyed our time in Northern Ireland, we found it easy to motorhome as long as you were happy to tour around. I'd certainly recommend it, and I hope we've inspired you to go too.